Have you ever trusted someone so deeply, your wife, your closest friends, only to discover they were the ones holding the knife behind your back? This is the story of Kaleb, a man whose heart was shattered not once, but 3 times by the very people he thought he could trust the most. Kaleb was a hard-working man, the kind of husband every woman dreams of. He wasn't rich, but he was loyal, kind, and dedicated. His wife, Marta, was the center of his world. He provided for her, protected her, and trusted her completely. Kaleb also had 2 lifelong friends, David and Mark. They grew up together, went through school together, and even stood beside him as best man at his wedding. To Kaleb, they weren't just friends, they were brothers. Life seemed perfect on the outside, but behind closed doors, cracks were forming. Kaleb's job demanded long hours. He worked overtime to build a better future for his family, but Marta didn't see it that way. To her, those late nights felt like neglect. She felt lonely, unwanted, and began to seek comfort elsewhere. At first, it was innocent. A conversation with David when he came over to watch a game, a laugh with Mark while Kaleb was busy working in the garage. But what started as harmless small talk soon crossed dangerous lines. One evening, Kaleb invited his friends over for drinks. After a few rounds, Kaleb excused himself to take a late-night business call. Marta stayed behind with David. The silence between them grew heavy, and then one reckless decision changed everything. Marta gave in to temptation. In her loneliness, she crossed the line with David, her husband's best friend. When it was over, guilt filled the air. But guilt was not enough to stop her. A few weeks later, Marta found herself alone again, this time with Mark. She was restless, confused, and angry that Kaleb still wasn't giving her the attention she craved. Mark noticed her frustration, and he played the role of the comforting listener. But comfort turned into something darker. Marta, already lost in her own mistakes, gave in once more, this time with Kaleb's other best friend. Now 2 of the men Kaleb trusted most had betrayed him with the woman he loved, and Marta carried a secret that burned like fire inside her chest. For months, Kaleb had no idea. He carried on, still believing in the loyalty of his wife and the honor of his friends. But truth has a way of surfacing when you least expect it. One night, Kaleb joined David and Mark for drinks at a local bar. They laughed, reminisced, and drank until their words began to slur. And that's when it happened. Kaleb stepped away for a moment. As he returned, he overheard the conversation that shattered his soul. Through drunken laughter, his friends whispered about Marta, about the nights they spent with her, about how easy it was behind Kaleb's back. Kaleb froze. His heart pounded in his chest, his stomach twisted with disbelief. He wanted to scream, to fight, but instead he stood there in silence, his world collapsing. That night, Kaleb walked into his home a broken man. Marta was waiting for him, smiling, pretending everything was normal, but Kaleb's eyes told a different story. He looked at her, his voice trembling, and asked her, "How long?" Marta froze. Her lips trembled, but no words came. Her silence was louder than any confession. Kaleb's tears burned his eyes as he realized the truth. Not only had he lost his wife's loyalty, he had lost his friends, his brothers, his trust in love itself. Kaleb didn't scream. He didn't beg, he didn't fight, he simply walked away. Because sometimes silence is the loudest form of heartbreak. Marta was left behind with her guilt. David and Mark were left with their shame. But the real tragedy was Kaleb. A man who gave his all only to be betrayed by the three people who should have protected his heart the most. And so, Kaleb's story isn't just about infidelity. It's about betrayal, trust, and the painful truth that sometimes the people closest to you can cause the deepest wounds. Tell me, what hurts more? Losing a wife who broke her vows, or losing two friends who destroyed the meaning of brotherhood?